Amazing. Tori, thank you so much for joining us here on Spark TV. It is an honor to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So now you are you're the founder of the Rural Business Coach. But before we get into that, I'd love for you to share your story with our audience. So how did you actually get to starting a business?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we have to rewind the clock a little bit. You might notice my accent is not Australian. I am originally from Texas. I've been in Australia for about 12 years now. So I graduated from university in the middle of the GFC. No one would hire me. There was no hope for me to get a job. So
Yeah.
I thought, let's go traveling. Australia speaks English. They'll give me a visa. I'll go there. So that was my really fantastic, as a
Great
20-year-old.
strategy. I
Yeah,
love it.
perfect. So came to Australia. I was traveling around, backpacking, working as a barmaid. And I met my husband at one of the pubs. He was just one of those guys that came, and I was working in country pubs. So I was working in a country pub, and he just kept coming in, kept having beers and dinner every night when I was working. And I was like, right, this guy, like, he must never cook at home. And then, a few weeks later, I was supposed to be going on a plane to Singapore, and I was going to continue on traveling and then go back to Texas and do my graduate degree. And I was, before you know it, at the airport to go to Singapore. And my now husband had dropped me off at the airport, and I said goodbye. And then after sitting there for about an hour, I went up to the desk and I said, actually, can I get my bag back? And had to hold the plane to get my bag off the plane.
Oh my
And
God.
my husband came pick me up, and now we're married and we have 2 kids. And
Oh my
I
God,
live
this
in
is
the middle of nowhere.
incredible. I love it. That is unbelievable.
Yeah. So after that, then I started working for an international oil and gas company. Being a Texan, it was quite convenient that they were based in Houston and I was here in WA. And so, yeah, as a 20-year-old, I started this huge jet setting career. I was really, really fortunate. And I managed the Australasian branch. And that was kind of my start into corporate and corporate leadership. It was quite fast track for someone as young as I was. And then eventually I realized I didn't enjoy the commute between the farm and Perth. And I was headhunted, luckily, to start working up in the wheat belt. So I moved to the wheat belt and was working as a general manager for a machinery manufacturer. And that was tons of fun. But then it made me realize, holy cow, there's such a gap in the market. No one is servicing these country businesses, and country businesses, we're not all country bumpkins. Like, they're multi-million-dollar businesses.
Oh yeah,
All
totally.
over the place, like all over the place. Yeah, sure. He may not have the best genes in the world, but I guarantee he could probably be a millionaire. Like, the
Yeah.
amount of wealth in the country is insane. And I just
Mm,
started realizing no one was servicing these people. They just kind of
yeah.
assumed, like, urban metro. There was just such a divide. And so I thought, no, this is such an opportunity for me to jump into a new market. And that's what I did. I kind of went head first and I started a marketing agency. And then I realized I really wanted to be more, have a more holistic approach to everyone's business. And that's when I evolved into coaching, really into full business coaching, because that was really everything I knew was a top to bottom approach, not just focusing in one area. So I went back to what I knew, which was, full over coaching and consulting.
Amazing. So if somebody came to you now, so let's take me, for example, or, a regional business. If someone came to you right now, what kind of services would you offer?
Yeah, definitely. So I work with clients in kind of 2 ways at the moment in my group program mastermind. So I've got some incredible women. There's just like legends. I can't believe I get to spend an hour with them every week, and they're from all over the country. I think the only state we don't have Tasmania. So if you're from Tasmania and you want to be in a
Yes.
really cool mastermind, we have space. No, we really take anyone from anywhere. But yeah, I've got this incredible mastermind and we meet weekly, and it's just the level of incredible transformations that they have, and the things that they're launching and things that they're doing are so cool. So I
Yeah.
have my mastermind, and then I also do one-on-one coaching, and that is just meeting you exactly where you are in your business, figuring out next steps, growth, scalability, and yeah, how to get you to those big numbers and those big goals that you want to achieve.
That is absolutely awesome. And male and female or female focus?
Look, female focused.
Yeah.
I've worked with men. I only really made the decision to work with women probably in the last 3 years.
Mhm.
And that's just because, especially in the country, we are juggling lifestyle and logistics that are
Mm,
unlike anyone else. Childcare is a completely different game changer, especially in the
yeah.
country.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours round trip to get groceries. So, in addition to running your business, you've also got to figure out, how am I running my household? How am I running my kids?
Yes.
Like, there's just so many other layers. And especially as a female founder, as women in business, we can't discount our lives
Mm.
in order to run our business. So that's why I really like to focus on women, is because we've got challenges, and I think they need to be recognized, and they need to be included in our business planning and our business productivity as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think you're spot on. It's really bizarre. I don't have a family, but I've just noticed the change. So I've been regional for 6 months, and just everything takes longer. Everything's harder, and there's so much more maintenance that goes on. I went from city Brisbane living, and if I was time poor, I'd just order food to my door, and like it was all good. But here, like, you really actually have to think about the household. I can only imagine adding the layer of complexity of being even more regional or having kids. Like, it's incredible the type of things that we have to go through as female founders.
Yeah, definitely. And when you start adding in, farming families
Mm,
and other spouses' businesses and other things like
yes.
that, like it just blows out. And I've got clients that are 17 hours from Brisbane, and I'm like, I don't even know where that is, but
Wow.
bless
Yeah.
you. They're really,
Yeah.
really remote. And so that's why I really want to work with those sort of women, is they are in the most challenging of circumstances, yet having these incredible businesses. And I feel so lucky to work with people I do.
Wow, that's so cool. So, do you have any? I mean, I feel like we're going to be those type of people that will talk all day and we could go absolutely anywhere. But I'm just thinking on the productivity vein. So, as women in business, is there any kind of like low hanging fruit that we can kind of tap into to feel more productive and less overwhelmed in our business?
Definitely. I think there's two places that I always like to start with managing the mental load.
Mm,
The first place is automate the crap out of everything. Like,
yes.
if you don't have canned responses in your emails, if you don't have kind of set packages and pricing, if you don't have,
Mm,
an email calendar booking system where someone can just book in to work with you, that
yes.
is just such low hanging fruit. Like, that
Mm,
is, when you have those things done, your mental load, it seriously has a huge effect. So, can get canned responses in your emails straight away, set up a calendar booking system straight away, and then just have packages and prices that are not negotiable, kind of set three, and those are the ones you work off of, because so much mental energy can come into preparing a proposal every time someone inquires,
mm,
preparing a whole new strategy document every time someone inquires. Like, let's make it simple, let's make it easy on yourself, because your client's not going to know if what's what. They just assume this is how she works, it's the same.
totally.
So, like, just make the decision now, draw a line in the sand, and start making those differences of automation, really. And then the second thing is outsourcing. Outsource the
Mm,
crap out of everything. So I outsource my cleaning, because that is one thing I can outsource. And I think that we need to look at outsourcing as not just what can we outsource in our business, but like
yes.
outsource our food. Can we get meal deliveries? Can we get meal prep done? Like, outsource those things that do not bring you joy. That's always one of the questions I ask my clients is, does it make you money? Does it make you happy? If it's not yes to both those things, or at least yes to one of those things, we should probably outsource it, get rid of it.
Yes.
So yeah, outsource your cleaning, outsource your food, bring in, a VA to support you if you hate admin or you hate bookkeeping, look at those things. What can I outsource? And if it's something, you're struggling to get to the gym, then outsource and bring in a personal trainer. It's that support.
Mm,
Having someone else in your corner is such a game changer for everything, because even like cleaning. Okay. I know I have the responsibility to have my house somewhat tidy. My laundry has to be somewhat done for my cleaner to come, or else she's going to be like, gosh, what a slacker.
yeah.
Same thing with having a virtual assistant. Your virtual assistant's going to have some expectations of you. So it's not just outsourcing, but it's adding a level of accountability and support to yourself. And that
Mm.
is so huge. That's so huge for managing the mental load.
I could not agree with you more. It's so funny. Like I'm just thinking about the cleaning, right? Like I'll let the house go. And then the day the cleaner's coming, oh, I better quickly just tidy, do this, get a lot of washing on, and I do it in like 2 minutes versus it taking me so long because I hate it on every other day. So I do actually love that. It's not just about, I don't want to do that task anymore. It's about that accountability and bringing some kind of structure into your life. I even think about it with one of the girls that does my podcast. I kind of go, right, there's a certain time at the month where I need to have everything ready to go so that I'm not holding her up. So she has everything that she needs to be successful. And it's just that, yeah, being accountable to somebody else that kind of helps give you a little bit of a nudge. And I think sometimes in businesses where you're working from home and you don't have those sort of people that you can bounce off, it's super easy to kind of get overwhelmed and stuck and, oh, let that go and what have you. So having those people around you is awesome.
Yeah. And I see it with my coaching clients. Like when they know we're meeting like on a Tuesday or whatever,
Yeah.
when Monday, I'll see this like flurry of activity where they're like getting stuff done in their business. They're checking off the to-do list. They're submitting documents. And it's just because they have that accountability where they know I'm going to say, okay, where are we up to? Has this been done? That
Yes.
probably wouldn't happen. They would be still working in their business instead of on their business if they didn't have
Yes.
that level of accountability.
That is so good. So what about from I want to talk about, because obviously you went from uni to employee to business owner. What was that mindset shift like for you? So did you just jump into business and go, I've got it all figured out, I'm amazing? Or did you personally have to kind of level up and grow? Like, do you have coaches? Like, talk to me about moving into the business mindset.
Yeah. So I was very lucky. I grew up in a family business,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'm probably like a fourth generation business owner. So
Yeah.
seeing the entire small business from that perspective as a child growing up, working in the business, seeing my dad like get a computer system,
Oh my
like
God. Yes.
I'm that old. I'm that old. I
Yeah.
remember when we got our first computer and we had to like put all the client bookings online. Like I have literally seen such transitions in businesses. And so it's really
That's so cool.
one, it's really cool. Two, it makes me really old, but that's okay.
Right,
But it does.
we cover those grays and wrinkles. It's all
Yeah.
good.
We go blonde. We go blonde,
That's
people.
it.
We don't go gray. We go blonde.
Exactly.
And so yeah, for me, it was really natural. Like I kind of always knew I wanted to be a business owner.
Mm.
And I at uni had this like little hack. Instead of having a normal uni job, I actually worked as a realtor. So I was kind of in a
Oh,
self-employed space
cool.
because I was
Yeah.
selling houses, because that was faster money than bartending or waitressing. So I
Yeah.
actually kind of had dipped a toe into self-employment. So I had a really good idea of like what it meant to be accountable to yourself and to,
Mm.
what you put in, you get out. Definitely that's true in real estate. So I had a really great foundation of understanding. But in terms of like, did I go all in? Absolutely not. So I kind of started toying with the idea of working for myself. I was also in a really soul destroying job. So like it
Mm.
was
That always
not,
helps. It always
yeah,
helps kick you up the bum, doesn't
always
it?
helps to get out the door. So I was in my soul destroying job and I dipped my toe in. I kind of like did a little soft launch. I got a few clients and then I started realizing, okay, to make this work, I actually have to go all in. I have
Mm.
to make it work. So I handed in my resignation. I called my best friend crying because I was like, look, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to go to Canada for your wedding, but I'm going to try.
Wow.
And so it was this big emotional day. And then from there, it's just been on the up. Like from
Mm.
that day, once I went all in and I was like, I've got to make this work. I've got to get to Canada. I've got to like, once you kind of had some really solid goals in place and I really understood like okay, how many clients do I need to get in? How many packages do I have to sell? Once I had a really firm understanding of that, it was just like smooth sailing after that. And 100% having a business coach in my corner it's something that you just, for me, it's not even a negotiable. Just having someone to bounce ideas off of, hold you accountable. I'm also in a mastermind, like having other women at that a few
Mm,
stages in front of you can be just so motivating, because it's like,
yes.
oh, that's what I'm going to do next. And just seeing what they're up to and what they're doing next is so motivating. So I always try to definitely stay at the top of my game in terms of, whether it be reading something, taking courses, coaching in itself. Yeah. So I think that you can't just get to a certain level and be like, I'm done, as
Yeah.
much as I'd love
I've,
to,
I've
as
peaked.
much as I'd love to.
Yeah. It's so good. And I just love that you say that, because I could not agree more. I think that it is lifelong learning. There is always something. I mean, you just think about business today anyway, like there's always something new, like there's a new social network, there's a new marketing strategy, there's new something. I don't think we are ever done, no matter how successful we are.
Yeah, I think that if we can just keep learning little bits,
Mm,
we're going to keep staying at the front of the game. Yeah, because business, even now, like I started my business in 2016, the stuff I was doing in 2016 compared to now is moved
mm,
at lightning speed. And that's the thing.
mm.
Business now is at lightning speed.
Yeah, no, you were so right. But, and even in saying that though, like we live in such an amazing time where you can actually just Google something. Like there will be a coach, there will be an expert, there will be a YouTube video. If you want it, you can go out and find it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like having knowledge at our fingertips is the most incredible thing. But I do find that sometimes my clients get a little bit caught up in learning
Mm,
instead of actually executing and doing. And so that's just something I think you have to be mindful of, though. And once you're mindful of it, then I think it's like, okay, let me intentionally learn something instead of just swim around and podcast for 2 days.
yeah, I love that. So we're very sales and marketing focused at Spark, and we teach sales strategy. And I do get that a lot as well. I'm like, people say, how long is this going to take? And I'm like, well, how many people have you actually reached out to this week? Like you've actually got to, not only understand the theory and the tactics and the process, but do like
Got to
actually take
do
the
it.
action.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I love that. I love that. So, you've got this amazing foundation with your family businesses. You've dipped the toes in the water. You're now a successful business owner. Have there been any challenges along the way that maybe surprised you, or you might have wished you had have known about, or even that you impart that wisdom on other people around challenges in business that, you can overcome?
Yeah, definitely. So I think one of the biggest challenges, which has now proved to be the biggest blessing, was without a doubt COVID. Like COVID changed my business, and I'm so thankful for it. So prior to COVID, I was traveling and seeing all of my clients in
Oh,
person.
yeah.
And when you work with regional people, that means, sometimes there's an 8-hour round trip for me to go to a meeting, which is insane
Mm,
now that I say it out loud. Um,
mm, wow.
so I think if you look at your challenges and you think, okay, well, how can I actually flip these on the head and make them work for me?
Yes.
So another challenge that I have that is just ongoing is childcare for me. I really am
Mm,
struggling because I have to I'd be driving 2 hours for childcare for my 1-year-old, and that is a little bit crazy. And so until he's a
yeah.
little bit older, then for now he'll just be around the house. And so childcare is a huge challenge. But
Mhm.
what it actually means is it means I have to be extremely productive with my time. There's
Mm.
no time for me to sit down at my desk, scroll Instagram for a little while, think about other things, chase shiny objects. It means that I actually have to be super efficient and super productive. And
Mm,
so I like to look at my challenges as opportunities, without a doubt. Like, how can I actually transition this and just to make it work for me? And how is it going to become a new opportunity for me? And I think as a business owner, if we can do that with our challenges and look at them as opportunities, it makes our business more exciting. It makes it so much faster for us to evolve, and we fail faster when we look at
mm.
something and we think, okay, how can I actually find the silver lining? If we can fail fast and we can be agile, we're going to grow. We're going to grow quickly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, those challenges are an opportunity to be creative. If you think about the travel as an example, like if you sit down and go, okay, there's something that's really frustrating me in my business, it's not bringing me joy, it is that big challenge. It is kind of that opportunity to look at it and go, right, what are 10 ways that we could do things completely differently that might be super, people would think I'm crazy, but you just never know what comes up. And I think you're right. COVID really made people do that, really made people kind of innovate and get creative in terms of the way they solved problems in their business. It was funny. I had a conversation with someone and they said, oh, like what was COVID like for you? And I said, well, to be honest, it was just the next thing. I'm like, the only thing I know about business is that there's always a problem. There's always a challenge to deal with. And I love the idea of being excellent problem solvers, because then it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if there's a COVID, you will always figure out how to be creative and overcome those challenges in your business.
Yeah, problem solving, like I just feel like as entrepreneurs, it's just a natural thing. And the sooner we accept it, the better we're going to be at it.
Mm. So with that in mind and thinking about how we're always dealing with challenges, how do you stay sane? I mean, I know you've got a family. How do you actually take time to look after you in business and not lose your self identity?
Yeah. So my favorite form of self-care is I like to have a midday shower, like
Oh, I love this.
completely. Yeah. Like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, perfect time for a shower.
Yeah.
And the reason is because when you do these things that are kind of habitual, it allows
Mm,
your brain to turn off. So, when
yeah.
you're driving, that's why you often get the best ideas. When you're showering, it's something that you do habitually. So you know how to do it. So your brain doesn't have to tell you how to do it. And it just allows my brain time and space to just kind of and it's not one of those quick showers. Like I'm washing my hair, I'm shaving my legs. I'm doing, it's a full shower.
It's a full
Um,
body experience.
it is
Yes.
a full experience. And it just allows my brain space to think, to
Mm.
breathe. I'm taking care of myself. And it is one of the most grounding things that I can do. And I think my husband knows it too, because sometimes on the weekend I'll be like, I'm just going to go shower. And it's like the most random time in the day. But it
Mm.
is that thing that just, it makes me sane. It's accessible. I cannot go get a massage. I live in the middle of nowhere. I cannot,
Mm.
go to a float tank. How wonderful would that be? I can't go to a Pilates class. I can't, like, there's so many things I can't do. What I can do is I can get in the shower. I can breathe. I can turn my brain off. And I can recognize that that is the thing that I can do to keep myself sane. And in just having that space where I'm allowing myself to just turn my brain off and do whatever it is, I get so many ideas. I get so inspired and I just feel so refreshed after that. Sometimes I go take a nap afterwards, but sometimes I'm just right back at my desk in like a towel going to town.
I love it as well because it's kind of disruptive. Sometimes you are at your desk and you're banging away on things and you're getting frustrated and there's all of these things and you're feeling overwhelmed. Like the physical act of just getting up and going for a shower and totally disrupting the experience you're having, I think is so smart.
Yeah, it's the best. Like I recommend it to anyone. If you're like, I don't know how to practice self-care, just do a random midday shower, report back, let me know how you feel.
It's so good. I mean, so mine's the midday walk. Mine is disrupting my day by just getting out of the house, walking to the IGA and back, which is, a 30-minute round trip for me. So I'm like, I know if I go there and get back, it's 30 minutes, I'm done. And for some reason, my head's a little clearer. So I love the idea of just finding those little things that you can do, because you're spot on. We can't get massages every day. We can't always go to Pilates. We can't always do this. So I love the idea of finding those little things that make a difference to you, but are super accessible. We don't have to blame time or money or any of those things. We can actually prioritize ourselves.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think it's the prioritizing yourself and just allowing yourself the 30 minutes to breathe, to think of something else, to do something different. Because as women running businesses, households, everything that falls on our shoulders, it's so easy to say, you know what, that's not a priority. I don't need to take care of myself. But like, you can't pour from an empty cup. We know it. We've heard
Mm,
it. We just need
mm.
to practice it.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. So, what would you say to females who might have a crazy idea for a business, but might just not be confident enough to take the leap yet? So, so we have a range of people that listen into the podcast. Some people who are in business, in the trenches, and others who are aspiring entrepreneurs. Do you think it's too late to get started in business? Do you think there's more opportunity? And if you do think that there's opportunity, what would be your tips on just getting started?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's never too late to start a business. It's never too late. If you are going to start today. Don't start tomorrow, start today.
Yes.
And that is the fastest way to get started, is just to do it. And in terms of opportunities for your business, if you can get really connected to the person that you're helping and the
Mm.
problem you're solving, if you can just narrow in on that, you're going to go so far. I love being kind of solution focused. If you can just focus on those solutions, that transformation you're giving your clients, then you're 100% going to have people to sell to. You're going to have a successful business. You've just got to be really solutions focused. And especially in this day and age, I think it's a little bit popular to do fear-based marketing with like,
Mm.
let's focus on our challenges. Whereas if we can be really solution focused, I think that positive energy is just going to draw in some amazing people.
I love that so much. And that, I think, is the perfect place to wrap. I think that you have given people so many nuggets of wisdom, especially if they want to take the leap, or if they're, in the trenches and maybe struggling a little bit with overwhelm, or how to be more productive. So Tori, thank you so much for spending your time with us today on Spark TV. I'm so grateful that you've shared your insights with our community.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun.